Hey everybody, Jim Cummings here, wishing each and every one of you a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. It's been a heck of a year and we've really enjoyed it here on the podcast. Producer Chris and I have been working hard to hopefully bring you some happy stuff for this Christmas coming up. And if you do like this, well, do us a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe, you know the drill. I just hope everybody out there is having a great time, enjoying each other's company. God bless, Merry Christmas, and what else? I think that was it.
Oh, yes. And don't forget to stay sweet as honey and enjoy the show.
Well, 'tis the season, everyone. Merry Christmas. And to commemorate that, I think it's time for a little Pooh Christmas adventure. What do you think? I think so, too. Hold on. Let me get on my skepticals. Ah, yes. And it starts with none other than
Winnie the Pooh.
Well, it was a cold, snowy day in the 100-acre wood. Winnie the Pooh watched the snowflakes fall outside his window.
Oh, I love it when it snows,
Pooh said.
But it makes me so very hungry.
Pooh decided to have his favorite snack. Can you guess what that is?
Honey.
Well, when Pooh finished eating, he looked out the window again. Now all he could see was white.
Oh dear, he thought. Something is wrong with the windows.
But soon he realized that he was snowed in.
Oh, now what shall I do?
He wondered. 'Tis a puzzlement. Well, after much thinking, Pooh had an idea. He could use his honey pot to dig himself out.
Oh, all this work is making me rather hungry,
Pooh said as he tunneled out through the snow.
But I've run out of honey. Perhaps my dear friend Piglet has some.
Worth a try. Pooh arrived at Piglet's house and found him snowed in too. So Pooh used the honey pot to dig out his friend, and it took him quite a bit of time.
Oh, thank you,
Piglet cried. I don't do Piglet. Piglet cried when Pooh finally reached Piglet's door.
You rescued me. Well, it's no bother, puffed Winnie the Pooh, trying to catch his breath. Do you have any honey, Piglet?
Well, I'm afraid not, Piglet said, but, well, Owl might. Something tells me they're on their way to Owl's. Pooh and Piglet walked to Owl's house and found that he was snowed in too. Well, I suppose we shall have to dig him out. And so they did. It'll be easier if we did it together, Piglet suggested.
What a grand idea,
said Pooh. So Pooh and Piglet worked together to dig out Owl. And this time, the digging went much more quickly. Thank you, Owl said when he opened his door. Would you like some hot tea?
With honey?
Pooh asked, hopefully. Well, after warming up inside Owl's house, the three friends went to dig out Rabbit. Things were going quite well until they heard a scratching sound.
Now whatever could that be?
Pooh asked. Perhaps it's a heffalump, Piglet cried. Very timid fellow. Suddenly, Rabbit burst through the snow. What's going on here? Rabbit cried.
Well, we're digging you out,
Pooh said. But I was coming to dig you out, Rabbit said. Rabbits are natural diggers, you know.
Well, perhaps we ought to go and dig out Eeyore.
Well, with the four of us, it shouldn't take no time at all. We put their backs into it, so Pooh, Piglet, Owl, and Rabbit went to Eeyore's house. Everyone helped with the digging, and they uncovered Eeyore's house in no time. Pooh tugged on the bell rope to let Eeyore know that they were there, but it made a very peculiar sound. Ow. It kind of sounded like Eeyore, if you know what I'm saying. If I'm not mistaken, Rabbit began, I'd say that that's not a bell rope. It's Eeyore's tail.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry, said Winnie the Pooh.
Don't worry, Eeyore sighed. No one bothers about me anyway.
But Eeyore, Piglet explained, we just rescued you.
And now that I've been rescued, let's see if Christopher Robin needs our help. Which was a good suggestion. Pooh, Piglet, Owl, and Rabbit, and Eeyore came upon Christopher Robin in the forest.
Oh, are you stuck? Shall we help dig you out? Asked Pooh. We're really quite good at it, you know.
Well, I'm not stuck, you silly old bear, laughed Christopher Robin. I'm making a snowman. Would you want to build a snowman? Pooh said curiously. Well, how do you make one of those? Well, I'll show you, Christopher Robin said. If we all work together, it will be an even better one. So, Christopher Robin, Pooh, and Rabbit helped to roll a giant snowball for the snowman's body. Eeyore found stones to use for the snowman's face. Piglet searched and searched for twigs to use as arms, and Owl flew them into place. Ooh, yes. Now this is the grandest snowman I have ever seen, Christopher Robin said. And I couldn't have done it without all of you. The end. And Merry Christmas. Well, here we are. 'Tis the season to be jolly, and by that I mean
Winnie the Pooh and a tree for Christmas.
Shall we snuggle up to the fire and give it a listen? All right, let's do so. Let's see. A tree for Christmas.
I saw in a book,
said Winnie the Pooh, one wintry day as he sat in his cozy little house with Piglet,
that at Christmas you should have a tree in your house, covered with decorations and lights and looking wonderful.
A tree in our house? Replied Piglet, a little confused. But I live in a tree.
Oh, yes, said Pooh, and so do I. This will be trickier than I thought. We had better ask Owl.
Owl's very smart. A tree in a tree, exclaimed Owl, when they explained everything to him. Oh, that's not right at all. I've heard of ships in bottles, but never trees in trees. Why, trees live in forests, and we live in a tree, and that's all there is to say about it.
I suppose if it were a very small one, it might fit, ventured Piglet.
In a bottle? Asked Pooh, who hasn't quite been paying attention. Well, through the door, said Piglet. Come on, let's come on, and we'll go hunt for one. So they walked through the door. Oh, that was exciting. So they said goodbye to Owl and headed out into the cold to hunt for the type of tree that might fit through a door. Well, they found one, and it was way too tall. Here's another, but it was very, very wide. And this one, well, it was just too spiky.
What we need, said Pooh, is a not very grown tree, and not very much grows at Eeyore's gloomy place, so let's try there.
So they did. But all they found was a gloomy-looking Eeyore and some gloomy-looking thistles. The thistles would certainly fit through a door, but didn't somehow have that Christmassy wonderfulness that they were hoping for. And I agree. They had just about given up and were on their way home for a little smackerel of something when they came upon a clearing, and in the middle they saw the tree. Not too tall, not too wide, not too spiky, and just the right size to fit through a door. There it is.
And now we must get it home, said Pooh. So he pulled, and he pulled, and Piglet pushed. But the little tree did not want to be moved. It seemed actually quite happy, right where it was. Well, by now, nearly everyone in the 100-acre wood had heard about the great Christmas tree hunt, and they had all gathered to help. Tigger tried bouncing it out of the ground, but it didn't work. And Rabbit tried to nibble through the trunk, much too big. And Kanga spoke very firmly to the tree, saying, "Now that's quite enough fuss." But the tree stayed exactly where it was. Well, you know how Christmas trees can be. Just at that moment, the first flake of snow began to fall, and Christopher Robin came whistling through the forest. "Hello, everyone," he said, very brightly, and then he saw their dejected faces. "Why, what's the matter? Cheer up. It's nearly Christmas, you know." "Exactly," sighed Pooh. "It's nearly Christmas, and we haven't got a tree looking at all Christmassy and wonderful. We found this one, but it wants to stay right here in the forest." "Oh, I see," said Christopher Robin. "Well, if the tree won't come for Christmas, we shall bring Christmas to the tree." That sounds like a good idea. And so it was decided that Rabbit waved his arms and a great deal, and he gave everyone a job. Pooh was to gather some pine cones. Piglet found acorns. An Owl went home to fetch various candle ends. Sounds pretty Christmassy so far. Tigger bounced high into the trees to gather mistletoe. Kanga and Roo picked bright red berries. Eeyore offered his back as a lowish stool, and Christopher Robin hung everything on their little tree. There, very carefully, Christopher Robin lit a candle. Roo squeaked and squealed with delight. "Stand back, Roo, dear," worried Kanga. The sun had just set in the 100-acre wood, and the tree looked simply wonderful. The candles flickered in the breeze and bounced light all around the clearing. "This little tree," announced Christopher Robin solemnly, "is our Christmas tree. Pooh Bear and Piglet found it, and everyone else helped. We must meet here every Christmas, and every year I will have grown." He glanced at his little piglet friend, and others, well, not so much. But the tree will certainly keep growing, because it knows that the forest was the best place of all for it to be. And they all cheered and wished each other a very, very Merry Christmas indeed. The end. Well, there you have it, a tree for Christmas. And we hope you enjoyed that story, little journey into the 100-acre wood. And thanks for coming along with us. And we hope you have a very, very Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year.